The other areas where business owners have far more security than employees is also in their ability to develop multiple streams of income. And this one is huge. Most people in job situations, they're locked into and kind of brainwashed by this employee mentality, and they think the only way to earn more income is by trading time for money. That's their solution to any kind of money problems. So, okay, go out and trade more time for money. So if an employee wants an additional stream of income, he or she either has their spouse go out and get a job, or they get an additional part-time job on the side, take on sometimes another full-time job. I mean, some families, both the husband and wife are working 2 full-time jobs just to scrape by and pay for that big, huge mortgage, renting their house from the bank. It's obscene. And so their solution is to simply trade more of their available hours for a few extra dollars. And the only other option for an employee to make more money, unless you're in a commission sales position or something like that, is to go hat in hand to the employer and beg your master for a raise. Okay? Or worse yet, if you're locked into, let's say, a union contract, then regardless of how hard you work or how much value you add to the company, all you can do is sit around and wait for seniority to accrue to get paid more money. There's absolutely no possible way in that kind of situation to earn more money in your job. In that kind of system, there's zero incentive for hard work and performance, because even if you work 3 times as hard as the guy or gal next to you, well, guess what? If they've been there longer than you, they earn more money than you, regardless of the value they contribute to the business. And so all you can do is wait and hope that the company doesn't either go out of business or your union doesn't go on strike and put you out of a job while you're waiting for your seniority to build. I mean, I guess in the union job, you can try to work a little bit of overtime, but that's only if it's available and if the higher seniority guys don't want to take it. But again, it's just more time for money nonsense. Now, the big problem with time for money is that everybody from Donald Trump to a homeless guy on the street, we are all limited by only 24 hours in every single day. So the number of hours we have to trade for our dollars is finite. But as a business owner, business owners know that money does not come from hours, it comes from value. Let me say that again. Money does not come from hours, it comes from value. And that's all money is. Money is simply a measure of exchanged value. The more value you give and create, the more money you'll make as a natural consequence. It's really that simple. So while somebody with an employee mindset looks for ways to work more hours, or perhaps, like I said, if they're smart and ambitious, even earn more per hour, go hat in hand to their boss and ask for that raise, or find a job that pays more, the person with the business owner mindset simply looks for new ways to add and create value. Now, this could be by developing new products, tapping into new markets, or even starting new businesses. So while the employee's financial future is 100% dependent on the health of just one business, a smart entrepreneur is continually seeking out, building, and creating new areas of value that result in multiple income streams. Again, who has more security? The employee with a single job or the business owner with 10 streams of income? The answer is obvious. Having multiple streams of income gives you real security, and that is income security. Now, at this point, I'm probably beating a dead horse, because if you still believe that you have any security staying in a job over starting your own business, you're probably beyond hope. But even if you had some security on a job, what you wind up trading for that very little security is the most important thing of all, is the worst trade-off of all. You are trading your freedom for that little bit of security. Thomas Jefferson has a quote that I just absolutely love. "The man who would choose security over freedom deserves neither." Very, very powerful quote. And it's so true. I mean, for me, this was the biggest single benefit to self-employment. And that's my freedom. I've already talked a little bit about, being able to do things in the middle of the day, come and go as I please. But I mean, really that freedom to do what I want, when I want, the way I want, how I want, with whoever I want. I mean, that's a huge, huge lifestyle benefit. I wouldn't trade that freedom for all of the cubicles and corner offices in the world. And the other area where business owners have a big advantage over employees is in the area of taxation. Now, but unfortunately, because the government has, brilliantly, and I say brilliantly, not in a good way. This is brilliant in an immoral, controlling, manipulative, kind of evil genius sort of way. It's sick. But they brilliantly set up the system so employees actually don't see how much is really being taken from them. Most people working jobs have no idea how deeply that the IRS and the state and local governments are actually reaching into their pockets. To keep the average taxpayer in the dark, businesses and employers, are required to withhold large chunks of most employees' pay and send it to the government directly. And additionally, there are countless other taxes and fees that employers are required to pay that employees never ever see. Yet they significantly reduce the amount of money the business can afford to pay their employees. Things like unemployment insurance and workers' compensation, Medicare, taxes on the insurance premiums, an additional, 7.65% on top of what you're already paying into Social Security. Yeah, your employer actually has to match that. So, Social Security is actually costing you 15.3% of your paycheck. Most people have no idea that that's happening. But even though you as an employee don't see these additional costs that your employer has to pay to keep you on the payroll, you better bet that he factors all of those costs into your total cost to the company when you go hat in hand to beg your master for a raise. I can guarantee you that. And the government deception of employees goes even deeper than that. Because instead of having to cut a check to pay their taxes like us business owners do, at the end of the year, most employees get a tax refund. They get a check from Uncle Sam, and guess what? That makes them feel all warm and fuzzy. This positive reinforcement, like the slot machine that pays out every now and then, but guess what? It's just giving you some of your money back while it's keeping the bulk of it robbing you blind. Okay? But people never stop to think that all they're getting back is their own money. It's money that they've just lent to the government interest-free for an entire year. But even though the IRS pays you zero interest on the money it owes you, heaven help you if you owe the IRS money. Do you think since you've lent them all this interest-free money for so many years, they're going to show their appreciation? No way. You're going to get absolutely slammed with interest and penalties, so steep it would make a loan shark blush. And I'm only partially joking there. I mean, the media can marginalize and make fun of the folks who attend the tea parties and rallies for smaller government all they want. But if employees actually got paid 100% of what they earn and that they had to actually cut a check every quarter and pay their tax bill like us business owners do, the political landscape in this country would be vastly different. There would be riots in the street if people had to cut checks for their taxes, the rest of the 98%. So, the estimated local tax burden of the infamous Navigational Acts, a little history here, that's what sparked the Boston Tea Party and the American Revolution. The total tax burden was about 2% of a person's annual income. Okay, and we went to war with Britain over that. We thought this was just an oppressive level of taxation. I mean, our founding fathers would literally roll over in their graves to know how so many of the most productive people in our society now, some of us have a combined tax burden of over 60% of everything we make. It's immoral and disgusting. But even with that full-out kind of confiscatory frontal assault on business and wealth under the current administration and Congress, I mean, they're waging this war on prosperity, there's still many, many tax advantages to being a business owner rather than an employee. And the biggest is when you are taxed. And pay attention here. Now, employees are taxed on what they have before they spend their money. Business owners, we're taxed on what we have left after we spend our money. So that is a huge, huge advantage. Now, of course, I'm not an accountant or a tax attorney, so you need to consult with a qualified tax advisor to really explain how to structure this properly when you go into business for yourself. But if you really wrap your mind around this advantage and experience the tax savings that you get from business ownership, you'll never be able to actually afford to go back to getting a paycheck ever again. It's a complete game changer. Now, another common and related lie. This video is continued in part 4. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or simply visit crdoc.me totake.com/jobs to view the full video right now.